Hi, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Echad double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. I found this on Market Watch. It says, the latest jobs report is bad news if you're looking for work, except in these fields. January's jobs report easily surpassed Wall Street expectations, giving a temporary boost to stocks Wednesday, but it was downbeat data for many Americans who are unemployed and looking for work. Though the U.S. economy added 130,000 jobs last month and the jobless rate decreased, most of the gains were clustered in the healthcare sector. So clearly there's jobs in the healthcare sector. You know, that's good news for people who want to work in healthcare, a long-time powerhouse for employment, but it spells tough news and lengthy job hunts for many other people, a sleepy job market. Let's see what this is talking about. Today's report is probably an aberration and the job market will stay sleepy, economists said. What the hell does sleepy mean? The chief economist at Jefferies, Thomas Simons, doesn't sound won over by the January jobs report, saying there is an extraordinary degree of seasonality in the January payroll data. We expect that in the months ahead, this pop in January payrolls will look more like an aberration than a change in trend from the sleepy labor market that prevailed for most of 2025, Simons wrote in a note. You know, anything that has to do with the healthcare sector, man, that already goes to show you. Then, you know, just like when the vid went up, of course, when there's probably a lot of people going to be going to the hospital. That's why they're probably looking for more nurses now, because they're expecting an increase of patients possibly, you know. But 130, who knows, man, with these different reports that are going on with Disease X. Let me look at Disease X and see where that's going. Anytime that they talking about job, you got to, you know, they talk about these things. 5 infectious diseases to watch in 2026. What's this about? That's a month ago. I don't give a fuck about that. What countries is it in? Why is it giving me such late dates? Let's see. Disease X, I'll watch AI overview, is a placeholder term used by World WHO for hypothetical, unknown future pathogen and pandemic, all about Nipah virus. I think that's what they call it. Let's look at some news on the Nipah 2 weeks ago. Let's go to all. Nipah virus outbreaks and infections have primarily occurred in South and Southeast Asia, with key affected countries including Bangladesh, India, Malaysia, Singapore, and the Philippines. The virus, which causes severe respiratory illness and fatal encephalitis, is often linked to fruit bat habitats in seasonal outbreaks, particularly in India and Bangladesh. All right, I heard it was in Brazil though. So, is it spreading or what? As of February 2026, there are no confirmed cases of the Nipah virus in Brazil. The Brazilian Ministry of Health has refuted fake news reports, clarifying that there is no evidence of the virus in the country. While Nipah has a high fatality rate, current risks to the Brazilian population are considered low, and no flying foxes, natural hosts, exist in the Americas. Not yet. That's how those other diseases, you didn't think it was going to come hit here until it did. Let me look at just some measures, man. U.S. stock market. Let's see what them stock market's doing today. Cisco share slide, stock market today. Let's get a quick little update. Is it good or bad, man? U.S. stocks were little changed on Wednesday as investors digested a January jobs report that blew past expectations on a monthly basis. And you know what? This is all a lot of this news is market manipulation. The report signaled a resilience in the labor market, despite showing a heavily revised picture for last year, but it also bolstered the case for interest rates to stay on hold for the foreseeable future. The blue chip focused Dow Jones Industrial fell 0.1%. S&P 500 slipped below the flat line, and the tech-heavy NASDAQ composite fell 0.1%. After a bruising recent run of labor market data, the unexpectedly strong Super Bowl of job reports showed the U.S. economy added 130,000 positions in January. Come on, man, that shit don't even make any sense. Bureau of Labor Statistics data showed on Wednesday the unemployment rate ticked down slightly to 4.3% from 4.4%. So it sounds like a lot of market manipulation and bullshit. However, the bullish monthly data was counterbalanced because if it's 130,000 jobs in the healthcare sector, not a lot of people are looking for jobs in the healthcare sector. People are probably mostly looking for jobs in areas like, because Amazon just lost a bunch of jobs. These warehouse jobs and things like that, you're not getting those like that. However, the bullish, and that's what he said he was going to bring back to this place, which is another lie. However, the bullish monthly data was counterbalanced by heavy revisions to 2025 numbers, which brought the year's payrolls growth at 181,000, down from the previously reported 584,000 additions. That represents the weakest annual job growth since 2003 outside of a recession. So that doesn't even make any sense, man. These revisions, they're using data from 2025 to give you an idea of where we're at in 2026 in January. So I don't know how they get these numbers, but it's bullshit. The stock market was just on a free fall just a couple of days ago, and now it's starting to balance itself out with false information. So your stock market is just being held up by some bullshit, man. All right. All a bunch of fun and games. Just crash this place, man. We ready to go. Ecclesiastes 12. Remember God in your youth. And 1, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Yeah, so remember the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, was ultimately Yahweh. Okay? He's the most high creator. Okay, but he gave the blueprint to his son Yahweh Shai, and you need to know about him in the days of your youth. It's better to get to know the Lord earlier in your life than to wait till you get old and then want to seek the Lord. Okay, and give him the, whatever you have left, because you done did all types of wickedness. Now you want to give the Lord some of your time. Okay, while the evil day comes not. The evil day is when the Lord, when the Most High sends his son to destroy this place and redeem his elect. Nor the years draw nigh, meaning before you get older, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. That's not when you want to be looking for the Lord. When you have no more pleasure in, pretty much your youth. Okay? That matches up with Ecclesiasticus 5 and 7. Let me grab that. We need to know the Lord now. Ecclesiasticus. I don't know what's up with I'm clicking too fast for some reason, like I'm in a rush. Ecclesiasticus 5 verse 7. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. So don't take a long time. When you tarrying, let's look at this word tarrying. Taking your time means to linger, loiter, or delay leaving a place, often staying longer than intended. Yeah, don't delay returning to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. Stop making excuses to look into the things that you're hearing about the Lord, especially when it comes to bringing forth judgment, who the Lord's people are. These are not things that are to be ignored. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth. Okay, suddenly. shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, because you're not expecting it to come. So, it's better for you to turn to him as soon as possible. And in thy security, thou shalt be destroyed. So you think you're safe when you're really not. You've been transgressing his laws. So that's what brings forth the judgment. That's why you don't want to be in that mindset that you're secure. None of us are saved. You're not going to know you're saved until you're on a chariot. And before you get on a chariot, you got to go through these different pestilences, losing your job, not having anything to eat. Just fully, your faith got to be on high, man. And perish in the day of vengeance. Okay, you don't want to perish in the day of vengeance. And vengeance belongs to the Lord. Okay, according to Deuteronomy. Let me grab this. Deuteronomy 32. And 35? Yes. To me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time. Whose foot shall slide in due time? Your enemies, Esau. For the day of their calamity is at hand. Calamity is judgment, is at hand, meaning it's coming. And the things that shall come up upon them make haste, which is these different prophecies that are going to come up upon the enemies of the Lord, which is ultimately your enemies too. Okay, let me grab this in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3. And actually, I think it's Zephaniah 2 and 8 I'm thinking about. Hold on, let me go here real quick. No, that's not what I'm thinking about. Zephaniah 3. No, Zephaniah 3 and 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. Who's the prey? It should be P-R-E-Y. It's these heathen nations. Okay, we're the prey to them, but the Lord, but they are a prey to the Lord. For my determination is to gather the nations, which are these heathen nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, assemble the kingdoms of the heathen, to pour upon them, who the heathen nations' kingdoms, my indignation, which is righteous anger. Okay, even all my fierce anger. So you're going to see all of the Lord's fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So everyone's going to see it. You're going to understand the wrath of the Lord. And that's what you get for messing with his children. Okay, Ecclesiastes 12 verse 2, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. So the sun, the light, the moon, the stars represent wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay, they all give some type of light. Okay, and the light symbolic of wisdom. Be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. So, nor the clouds return after the rain. So, while you still got this, the ability to receive this knowledge, because there's going to be a point where this knowledge ain't going to be, it's going to be hid. Okay, according to Amos, the famine of the word, that's coming. You want to get it while the getting is going. While that word's going out, while that water's still flowing, this is when you want to get that knowledge. Depending on who you listen to or whatever. Hopefully it's somebody within the umbrella of the great millstone, so you don't get led astray. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 2. And Baruch 2. No, I'm thinking about 4. So I think I'm thinking about Baruch 4 and 28. Baruch 4 and 28. For as it was your mind to go astray from God, so being returned, seek him 10 times more. So you want to being returned, meaning you've been called, with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, that you got to seek him 10. You got to find out if these things are true. You got to watch the videos, brothers breaking down Genesis, the 49th chapter, and see, okay, they're saying this tribe, is over here, and you would know because you've grown up in that tribe, so you'll be able to probably know more history about that tribe, and you can add to the ministry because there's certain things that you probably can add more to the ministry by having whatever, because every brick of the elect or the house of David has an important role, okay, and that needs to be brought out, whoever they may be. That's what being anointed is. When you look at that word anointed, it means to be consecrated or set apart for a specific calling or specific purpose. So the Lord, his men are they're anointed to do specific tasks, whatever it is that he has them allotted to do. Baruch 4 verse 29, for he that hath brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy again with your salvation. So this salvation only belongs to the nation of Israel. Okay, take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. Okay, who gave you the name? It's Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. Miserable are they that afflicted thee, which are these heathen, and rejoiced at thy fall. They rejoice at your fall. Okay, they're happy that you're in a low state. They want you to continue to be in that low state because the opposite of that is you ruling over them. Okay, there's no in between. When Jake is down, Esau's up. When Esau is down, Jake is up. Okay, but Esau's going to be destroyed forever, and Israel's going to be ruling forever. Miserable are the cities which thy children served. Miserable is she that received thy son. So who received your sons? America, Babylon the Great. Miserable is the cities, America, Babylon the Great, which thy children served. We served over here in modern day Egypt, Nineveh, whatever you want to call it. Okay, here in America, that's what it's talking about. For as she rejoiced at thy ruin, okay, the Edomites rejoiced at your ruin, right, in the rest of the heathen nations, and was glad of thy fall. So they were glad that you fell, that you're not in power, that you're in a low state. And they so proud they even come up to you and they think, what you gonna do to us? As proud as they are, they can't even fight, but they still, the mindset, they got a reproachful spirit towards the nation of Israel. Heathen to look at you like he half your size, he ain't got a pot to piss in, but as long as he can talk down to you because he doing better, this is his world. You ain't nothing in this world. So shall she be grieved for her own desolation. So America's going to be grieved for her own desolation because it's going to be destroyed. For I will take away the rejoicing of a great multitude, and they're rejoicing at our fall. And her pride shall be turned in the morning. They're going to be crying. They're going to be sad when this place be destroyed, like it tells you in Revelation, the 18th chapter. For fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, the fire, storm of nuclear destruction, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. Isaiah the 13th chapter and Isaiah the 34th chapter tells you that these devils are these desert creatures that are going to inhabit this place. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. Look about thee toward the east, and behold the joy that cometh unto thee from God, which is our Lord and Savior Yahushua. Lo, thy sons come whom thou sentest away. Where did we get sent away from? Israel. They come gathered together from the east to the west. They come gathered together from the east to the west. Now we in the western part of the hemisphere by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of God. Okay, and we're going to be rejoicing in that word. Okay, let me read that again. Lo, thy sons come. Lo, thy sons come whom thou sentest away. They come gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of God. So this word is bringing us back together. Ecclesiastes. So you want to get this wisdom knowledge now. Okay. Okay, before all these things be darkened and the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, the keepers of the house are your economists, okay, that are your banking families, but because they're the ones who keep things going. They're the reason People can invest more, loans are going out to start businesses and things like that. They determine the pretty much manipulate the stock market. But when the stock market's crashing, people don't want to invest. They're not giving out loans, okay? Because they're trembling. This is not a good time to invest. You look at some of the elites like Warren Buffett, for example. He's sitting on, I think 350 million, something crazy. I don't think it's billions of dollars, but it might be, I think it's millions, 350 million. He could have that invested. He's just sitting on that because he calls this place a casino. So he's like, this ain't the time. But then he's looking at other assets like Japan, for example, to invest money in a foreign country. When your elites don't even want to put their money in the stock market that made them rich, they're willing to invest it in a foreign country. That tells you a lot about the state of the economy. And the strong men shall bow themselves. The strong men are these different, police, military personnel, and things like that. They're gonna bow themselves because what the hell are they gonna do in an economy that's fucking crazy? What are you gonna do when all hell breaks loose? When the stock market crash and all of that, we'll see who is who, if that badge and all that shit matters. None of that. When the economy crashed, none of that shit matters, man. Everybody's on the same playing field because ain't no one gonna be enforcing the law. It's gonna be lawlessness out here. And the grinders cease because they're few. Grinders are talking about these different jobs. There's gonna be few jobs. And those that look out of the windows be darkened. Those that look out of the windows be darkened is talking about people who are looking for a future. There ain't gonna be no future here. A lot of, especially if you're looking for jobs outside of healthcare, where are you gonna get that job if they're not hiring? So your future, it don't look promising, especially if you're coming out of school now. If you didn't have a scholarship, you owe a lot of money. You paying the most to go to school right now. In the stock in the market outside when you graduate, it don't look good. You talk to students today, man, they telling you they want to go continue to go to school because it keeps their the interest at zero, but your interest might be at zero, but you still going negative in your money. Okay, so in order to pay off all your debt, there's only so long you can stay in school. Then you got to start paying that shit off, and the opportunities that are going to be out there, that's the windows being darkened. The windows represent your future. You looking, it's not a bright future. It's darkened. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 4, and the door shall be shut in the streets, because doors being shut in the streets, just like in 2020. There was no work. A lot of protests, a lot of uprisings. And that's the same thing that's going to happen in these last days. You're going to hear more uproars of the people, more protesting, things going on in the world. People are going to be fighting up against that. You can't make money when people are upset about things, especially when protesters are, you making money. In Minnesota, they went out on the coldest day of the year. Well, maybe not the coldest day of the year, but it was a super cold day. And they had everyone take the day off just so they can protest against ICE. Imagine you had bills to pay. Everybody's economic situation is different. What if you just said, I got to work anyway, so I got to keep, the building open? Then these people probably would have destroyed your building. And these are people who own businesses, so don't think that doesn't affect the employees that work under them. Don't think that doesn't affect pretty much everybody, When the sound of grinding is low, the sound of grinding is low is going into not having any work. You're not going to hear traffic as much anymore, just like in 2020. If you weren't an essential worker, you wasn't working. They might not deem you essential, especially with the MOTB coming. The only people going to be working who has that chip. Tells you in Revelation, the 13th chapter, those who, let's grab it. Young or old, free or bond. Those are the people who are going to be working. So what are you going to do if you don't have this chip? Second Ezra 16 and 40. Let me grab this in Revelation 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So you don't want to worship, you don't want to take the knee, you're going to be killed. So that's one option. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So in order to buy or sell, you're going to have to need a mark, or you're going to get put to death. Okay, so this is the times that we're getting into, and we want to prepare ourselves for it. Okay, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird. You're rising up at the voice of the bird because you ain't going to have no work. You know, things are going to wake you up. You're going to be waking up and not have anything to do. Ain't going to be any, like I said, the only people who are going to be working are those who have the chip. And all the daughters of music shall be brought low. You know, the daughters of music also goes into, you can tell by the music the state of the people. You know, matter of fact, let's look at what's the number one hit song right now. Choosing Texas by Ella Langley is the number one song. What is it about? What is this song? I never heard of this about. I'm just curious to see. Chosen Texas by Ella Langley, co-written with Miranda Lambert, is a country song about the quiet resignation of losing a lover to their roots, specifically a Texas woman in Texas lifestyle. The narrator realizes her partner's heart belongs to Texas despite her efforts, accepting that his love for a past Texan way of life was inevitable. It might be a good song, but you know, it's not the same, man. So, you know, the music pretty much, it ain't popping like that. You know, people probably never even heard of Ella Langley, you know, unless you into that. But, you know, the music, let me grab this in Isaiah 24. You know, it's not a song that's beating any older songs. The music ain't getting better, is what I'm trying to say. Isaiah 24. And I guess you can start up a little bit, but Isaiah 25 and 24 and 4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do language. So the proud, disdainfully proud people. They're languishing. Everything's languishing. It's not getting better. It's perishing. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore had the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourneth, the vine languish, all the merry-hearted do sigh. The mirth of tabrets ceaseth. Let's go into the music. The noise of them that rejoice endeth. The joy of the harp ceaseth. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There's a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is dark, and the mirth of the land is gone. See? You go and listen to Ella Langley, and you ain't in the spirit of Texas, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's just whack. You know, you can't even have You can't even just enjoy a drink and listen to music anymore. Like, who goes to the bars and the clubs anymore? It's probably young people because they're dumb. They still living at home. They can afford $20 drinks for a stupid ass margarita, and then go buy it for some chick that they met on TikTok. I mean, not TikTok, Tinder or some stupid shit. You know, People who've been partying back in the day wasn't like that. Now it's so tough now. You might as well save a couple of dollars. But the music reflects the state of the people, man, and it's being brought low. The quality of the music. As a matter of fact, what's her name? Red, Sexy Red, for example. Sexy Red just did a remix on Michael Jackson's Beat It. Called Eat It, right? That's a far fall from Michael Jackson's Beat It. That was a hit song. Then she turned it to Eat It. Let me see if there's news on it. Let's see what it says. Shit crazy, man. Sexy Red turns this Michael Jackson classic into a raunchy anthem and sparks backlash because she's just ruined. That's the state of the music now. It's degrading, man. You listen to that shit enough, man, you're gonna be a full blown rapper. But you want to drink to that shit, man, you might get shot. Sexy Red flipped Michael Jackson's Beat It into a raunchy Just Eat It version, which has drawn polarizing opinions from fans on social media. So that's the state of your music, man. You have fun being in a bar drinking to that bullshit. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 5. Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. Ooh, the mourners go about the streets. You're going to see more protests, right? Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high. You get older, you don't want to be getting up on no platforms to, take something down, man. Okay, but it's also some symbolic of the Lord. And fear shall be in the way. What are you going to do with an economy where you got to go fight for some food or something like that? Where the stores are closed, and like it tells you in 2nd Esdras, the 6th chapter. What are you going to do? I mean, a lot of us ain't got no guns and shit like Esau. Esau's relying on his hammer to get him across everything, but it ain't going to work. If the Lord ain't dealing with you, your gun's going to jam. You're going to run out of bullets. You're going to lose the battle. 2nd Esdras 6 verse 22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. So to talk about these different stores, people uprising, rioting, trying to go into a Walmart, that shit might have hundreds of people trying to get in there and they're closing it. Because not everyone's going to agree to take this chip. So it's going to be wild. This is why we got to seek the Lord. And the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden. The almond tree shall flourish. I gotta look this up. The almond tree shall flourish. What does that mean? Let's see what chat says about Ecclesiastes 12 verse 5. Almond tree shall flourish, meaning the almond tree blossoms white, symbol of gray white hair in old age. Let's see if this is true. Almond trees commonly blossom with white to light pink flowers in late winter or early spring, often appearing before leaves emerge. These delicate blooms, which signal the start of a new season, rely on honeybees for pollination and are significant pictures I can't say that, event in places like California's Central Valley. So you start to get gray hairs, and the grasshopper shall be a burden. So something that's smaller will be a burden to you when you get older. And desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the street. So, it's also symbolic of you getting older and passing away. Okay, Ecclesiastes 12 verse 6, or ever the silver cord be loosed, or the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern. So ultimately, the silver, the gold, the cistern, the water broken at the fountain is ultimately going into your wisdom. As you age, you start to lose your wisdom. So why would you try to go seek the Lord at that late in the game? You got dementia. You trying to learn about Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Time is showing you the importance of getting this wisdom now. Okay, before that evil day. It's not even that you're old, because you could be old and get this wisdom too. As soon as you're exposed to the truth, you gotta cleave to the truth. Okay, because that's like you cleaving to the Lord through this word. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 7, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. So that's what happens when you die. You go into the dust, your spirit goes up to the Heavenly Father. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 8, vanity of vanities, saith the preacher, all is vanity, which is worthlessness. Life is worthless if we don't have the Lord. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 9, and moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. Yea, he gave good heed, and sought out and set in order many proverbs. So you want to get that wisdom, man. Purpose of the preacher. We need someone to teach us, man. We all didn't have this truth didn't just come out of nowhere, man. You learned it from somebody. They put you on. It's crazy because some people know they're Israel. They won't even tell you that they know they're Israel. They won't say nothing to you. You be like, damn, bro, you knew we were Israel this whole time? Oh yeah, I watch Hebrew Israelite videos all the time. And you ain't tell me? People are wicked, man. Hebrews 10 verse 17, so then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So that's all I want to get. That's how you get it. So you need a preacher. As a matter of fact, let's get some more. But I say, let me jump up. Hebrews 10 verse, Hebrews, I don't know why I'm saying Hebrews. Romans 10 verse 14. It says, how then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? So you need a preacher, man. And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace. Gospel is good news. And what's the good news about? The good news is that there's deliverance. Okay, there's salvation to Israel. Okay, that the Savior's coming. This is good news. You got a kingdom of heaven, everlasting life. All of this is good news, man. That you're going to be saved from your enemies. That's good news. You're not going to be in this perpetual state of servitude to Esau. That's what you call good news, man. But a lot of y'all don't see it as good news because you're suffering from what you call Stockholm syndrome. You love your oppressor. Okay, that love that's just over with. Okay, now we are aligning ourselves with the Lord. It tells you in the book of Isaiah, the 10th chapter. I don't want to get too far off. Gospel of peace, bring glad tidings of good things, which is this word. This is we should be comforting you in these last days. Isaiah 10. Verse 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. So instead of trusting in Esau, the one who smote us, okay, we're not going to be trusting on him anymore. We understand that his system's going to crash, and you're going to need to take a implantable device in your right hand or your forehead in order to participate, like it tells you in Revelation, the 13th chapter. Okay, we're not going to trust in that system. That's you worshiping him. That's you bowing the knee. Okay, we're going to stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth, which is Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, meaning Yahweh, the Most High God, who means he is or he exists, in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Or Bahashem, meaning in the name of his Son, Yahweh Shai, because you have to go through the Son. Okay? And we're going to trust in the prophecies. We're going to trust in the word. We're going to follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. And he's going to be guiding us. All right? We're not trusting in Esau. All right? So we're not going to trust on him that smote us. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 10, the preacher sought to find out acceptable words, in that which was written was upright, even words of truth. And that's what the preacher's going to do. Tells you in the book of Luke 22, in verse number is it Luke 22? Yeah, Luke 22, verse 31. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan have desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for thee, that thy faith faileth not. And when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. So when you converted, you strengthen your brethren. Okay? So the preacher sought out to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth. So you got to look these things up, man. All right. And if it's the will of the Lord, then you would teach also. Ecclesiastes 12 and 11, the words of the wise are as goads, and as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd. So goad is like it's a farming utensil tool. Let me look at this word goad. I'm thinking of a precept. A goad, it just says goad. Let's look it up, a goad. A traditional, often wooden stick with a pointed, sometimes metal or electrically charged end designed to prod, drive, or guide livestock like oxen and cattle, used in agriculture to control animal movement. It acts as a metaphorical or physical stimulus to encourage action, originating from Old English gad, a spear. It signifies pricking or urging. So there you go. That's what a goad is. And further by these, it says, the words of the wise are as goads. They're kicking you, kind of getting you to go work, man. And as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies. Let's look this up. Let's see what that means. As nails fastened by the masters of assemblies. Let me look this up. Ecclesiastes 12 and 11. Yeah, this nigga tapped out. Ecclesiastes 12 and 11. The words of a wise goads are sharp sticks used to prod oxen to keep them moving in the right direction. Meaning wise words can sting, correct, and even offend, but they are meant to guide and keep a man from going astray. That's right. Spiritual point, truth isn't always comfortable, it's corrective. And as nails fasten, meaning nails secure something so it doesn't move. Wise doctrine stabilizes and establishes understanding. By the masters of assemblies, teachers appointed to instruct gatherings of the people. They are stewards, not originators of the wisdom. So what does that mean? I don't get it. Teachers by masters of assemblies, meaning teachers appointed to instruct gatherings of the people, elders, prophets, righteous instructors. So by the master of assemblies. Okay. As nails fastened by the masters of assemblies, going into the teachers, which are given from one shepherd. Let me finish what it says. What's that mean? Meaning all true wisdom comes from one source, the Most High. Right. Though many teachers speak, the doctrine comes from one shepherd. Kind of makes sense. It all comes from Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. Ecclesiastes 12, verse 12. And further, by these, my son, be admonished. Of making many books, there is no end, but in much study is a weariness of the flesh. So there are many books. You know, you talk to some people, it's like they know all this information, but they can't. But when it comes to the Bible, they lack wisdom. Like they have very little. They know a little bit about everything, a little bit about the Bible, a little bit about other books. But they'll tell you, you talk about the Bible, then they'll start talking about the Book of Enoch. They don't know nothing about the Bible, but they can. Well, the Book of Enoch says this, that, and the third. You know, that's a weariness of the flesh, man. It's better to kind of stay focused on one thing. Get with what's already given. I mean, there's only, what's that, 80 books? I mean, that's enough. There's already so much in the 80 books that get that first. You know, once you have a firm foundation in these 80 books, it is nothing wrong with going into other books, man. But at least, you know, get the 80 books down. You know, I don't know how many precepts all 80 books are, but that's the whole roll, man. Just eat the whole roll, like the Bible tells you. And then from there, you know, if do you want to go into other books to kind of, I don't know, if you know, you find out some information that can back up what you already know to be true, then hey, bring it out. But you need that foundation first. Let me grab this in the book of Isaiah 34. Isaiah 34 tells you that none of them shall want their mate. And 16, I think. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail. None shall want her meat. From my mouth it have commanded, in his spirit it have gathered them. Okay, so seek ye out of the book and read. None shall want their mate, meaning this book can't be compared to any other book. You want to get this first. Okay? People try to use this and then try to mix it up with the Quran. Nah, man. That's how you turn yourself into a demon. Ecclesiastes 12, verse 13, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. A lot of people can't even do that. You know, they'll never even get to Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, to even understand what this means. The whole conclusion of the whole matter. Ecclesiastes 12, verse 14, for God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So you're going to get what you reap. What else I got? Pentagon. Let Customs and Border Protection fire anti-drone laser near El Paso this week. So the ducks giving lasers to shoot down drones on your border. Okay, so that sounds like more rumors of war. They shut down the airspace. Let me see. The Pentagon allowed U.S. Customs and Border Protection to use an anti-drone laser earlier this week, leading the Federal Aviation Administration to suddenly close the airspace over El Paso, Texas. Two people familiar with the situation told the Associated Press on Wednesday. So here it is. They shut it down. When you watch the news about it, they were saying they were going to shut down. It was a quick little email or whatever. They shut down the whole airport they said for 10 days. Then they said it was okay. They neutralized whatever threat was in the air. But they're saying it was a balloon or some weird shit. I don't know what the hell's going on, but all that cartel shit, that shit didn't even kick off yet. He was talking a whole bunch of shit about these different cartels, and all he's been doing is getting immigrants out of here. But there's actual cartel situations. They're using drones, you know, that he was acting like he was going to go into Mexico and shut them down from the inside, and it's never happened. But who knows? We'll see. As Duck administration officials appear to pass the buck for the use of the laser, one U.S. official told Fox at the Pentagon that the directed energy weapon was in CBP's control when a balloon was mistaken for a drone and shot down near El Paso. So this is what this is telling you, is that your border patrol are equipped with laser beams. Okay? They're shooting laser beams, man, doing these practices at your border. And they told the people if they caught them in certain areas that they would kill them. That's not saying nothing about that in this report. But if you were in the restricted area, they would put you to death. Okay? And it was just a quick little, so it's like Esau threw it out there to kind of, and then took it out. In January, the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth agreed to loan the directed energy counter-drone platform to the Department of Homeland Security. Fox reported. The Washington Post military affairs correspondent Dan Lamothe also reports airspace was closed by the FAA near El Paso late Tuesday after CBP personnel launched a counter-drone laser weapon without full interagency integration, officials say. That weapon had recently been transferred temporarily by the Pentagon to DHS. So he armed people, man, with some high-level technology. Another national security journalist, Michael Wise, reports that why don't you, because the military's over there, why would you have to give Border Patrol that type of capability when you literally had, he was deploying troops to the northern border by Canada and the southern border by Mexico early last year, around this time last year. But DHS has lasers for some reason. Hey, note to self, man. Another national security journalist, Michael Wise, reports that a source in the military confirmed to him the laser was fired by DHS, angering senior officers as U.S. Northern Command. Every general and admin at Northcom is pissed that DHS did an operation and told no one because Homeland Defense is what Northcom does. The source told Wise even the base commander at Fort Bliss called the Pentagon and Northcom furious. I don't know what Northcom is, but that's a lot of confusion. I would think you're using military-grade weapons in your border patrol. It shows you kind of just, it's backwards, man. It's not a well-ordered government. What the hell is this? An error has occurred. Please contact. Well, I don't care. Criminal investigation ongoing into an agent who shot Chicago woman 5 times during Midway Blitz. You watch the video on this. This dude, it looks like the ICE agents. He's running around. He got the gun out the window. He pulls up on this chick and shoots her 5 times, man. Just like, they're saying that they're trying to say she drove into them, but the video's coming out and it's just showing her just driving down the street. So it kind of looks like he just dumped on her for no reason. And this has been out since, I forgot when this happened, but it's back in the news. And then there's a lot of news that shit that happened, it hasn't been talked about, now it's coming back up. And, I don't know what happened with this girl, but Miramar Martinez was labeled a domestic terrorist by the Duck administration last fall after she was shot 5 times by a U.S. Border Patrol agent. So if you get shot, you're the terrorist, not the person who shot you. This place is backwards, man. You know, there was somebody, I think he was in front of DC. Some dude came and like punched him in his face. He had a water bottle and he smacked the dude with the water bottle. And the dude who initially hit him first ran up the street, and the police locked up the dude who defended himself. Backwards, man. This place is backwards. How you gonna lock up the dude that's defending himself? So Esau is he's turning this place upside down, inside out. He's fucking this place up, man. Okay, but so you want to be the one, I guess you want to be able to strike first, and whoever's defending themselves, they're going to get arrested. But newly released evidence reviewed by the ABC 7 Chicago I-Team paints a different picture of what actually happened the day she was accused of ramming agents with her vehicle before one of them opened fire. While all criminal charges have been dismissed against Martinez, the I-Team is learning more about an open criminal investigation into the shooting and the agent who fired those 5 shots. And she's lucky she didn't get put to death. That was a high-powered, I think that was an assault rifle she got shot with. Dude, and they showed the camera, he's flicking the clip out. These people are demons, man. They're like, you know, the same motion. Like when you play video games, they do that shit in the video game. Like, these dudes, man, I wouldn't be surprised if they already got the chip in them and they being fully controlled. He probably got some real high-level demons out here, man. And if you ain't looking at it spiritually, you're going to lose. You're going to die. You're going to lose this war, man. Look at this dude, James Vanderbeck, dies at 48 from colon cancer, man. 48 years old with colon cancer, man. Come on. Come on, man. People think they go, oh, he's 48 years old, you young. The healthcare system's going up. And he said before he died, everyone should go get cancer screenings. And I wouldn't be surprised, we all got cancer. Everyone, if you in America, you probably got some form of, if they really did a scan on you, you probably got some fucking cancer. Eating all this shit, come on, man. I wouldn't doubt it, man. Now, I ain't saying that's gonna kill you, but nigga, this is Babylon, man. Everything you eat is killing you, no matter what it is. I was cooking something today. I was cleaning the greens off, and the greens got like some, you could tell it's like, you know it got some shit on it, man. I still eat that shit. You know, just pray to the Lord that, you know, hopefully it don't kill my ass, but you can't get around it, man. Everything's defiled here. Okay, at a Wednesday news conference, Martinez, alongside her attorneys, announced she will soon be filing a civil lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security. So these Homeland Security dudes are you're giving them laser technology, and they're committing crimes like this. So you know what type of people that are out there, man. Most people, after their criminal indictment has been dismissed, would stop fighting. Attorney Christopher Parent said, but to have your own government call you something as hurtful and as harmful as a domestic terrorist when you know you're not, it is just unacceptable. Listen, man, it is acceptable because the Lord wants this to happen. Look at these dudes riding around like thugs. Look how he's holding the gun, man. He got a damn scope on a 9, man. Like, what the hell is he doing? Probably got that red beam on it. Contradicting evidence. It was October 4th near 39th Street and Kedzie Avenue on the southwest side when footage from a Border Patrol agent's body camera starts recording after Martinez had followed the agents for several blocks honking her horn. Oh, see? You following the agents for 7 blocks honking your horn? While the footage has been referenced in court, the public is now able to see it for the first time. U.S. Border Patrol agent Charles Exum Jr. can be seen driving an SUV along with 3 other agents as passengers. All of the agents' faces were blurred by the government. Do something expletive, an agent is heard saying, while another agent is seen pointing his handgun toward the window. So you want to follow these people? I'm not saying that's what you get, but that's what you get. Why? Because you ain't listening to the Lord. Don't want you. I'm gonna grab it. Ecclesiasticus 9 verse 13. Keep thee far from the man that have power to kill. You don't follow behind somebody beeping your horn and he got the power to kill you. That's foolishness. So shall thou not doubt the fear of death. Yeah, you ain't got to worry about getting put to death when you ain't following death. Death is driving by you. You chasing it down, hawking your horn at death. Esau is at death, is as death is going, according to Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. And if thou come unto him, make no fault. You know, he's giving explicitives and you probably looking at him like, fuck you. Lest he take away thy life presently. And he tried to take away your life. He gave you 5. Remember that thou goest in the midst of snares, and that thou walkest upon the battlements of the city. This is a war zone. Okay? And the way you fight is not like Esau. You don't get carnal with him. Okay? We fight by being spiritual. Okay? Because this war it's not a carnal battle, man. What's that? 2 Corinthians chapter 10. In verse number 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. We don't war physically with guns like the so-called white man does. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, like a gun. That's not our weapon. But mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. So we tell the truth. Okay, that's more powerful than any weapon you can brandish. You having this truth and operating in wisdom, you'll avoid all of these situations. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach. Okay, so, and it says, in having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. So the point of the matter is being obedient, number one, and staying away from the man that got power to kill. And he don't want you protesting either. You know, let Esau do all that. He's not suffering the curses as much as the nation of Israel is, but these curses are falling upon our enemies, and you should be rejoicing in the Lord right now, because he's creating these situations for the wicked, which is ultimately Esau. You see what he did to Renee Good and Pretty, you know, but you involving yourself in something that don't even involve you. Okay, tells you not to meddle not with many matters. Let me grab that too. Ecclesiasticus. I keep forgetting. I think it's 14. I think. Ecclesiasticus 14. I can't remember. But the point of the matter, you don't want to meddle. Meddle not. Come on, man. Meddle not with many matters. Oh, it's 11 and 10. My son, meddle not with many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent. And if thou follow after, like you were, thou shalt not obtain. Neither shalt thou escape by fleeing. So you shouldn't. It's funny, it says, and if thou follow after, you pretty much, you getting in a lot of situations that don't involve you is going to get you into some trouble. Okay? Thou shalt not be innocent. All right? So we don't want to follow after. And that's what she did was wicked in the eyes of the Lord. And she's actually blessed that the Lord ain't put her to death. Because Psalm 60:20, the issue of death belongeth to the Lord. So he didn't want you to die. But clearly he was trying to teach you something. Okay? Which is Ecclesiasticus 9 verse 13. You need to seek the Creator now, man. It said, all right, this is what Esau said. All right, it's time to get aggressive and get the expletive out because they're trying to box us in. And Esau loves to shoot your ass. That's why he signed up to do this shit. An agent says as several trailing vehicles can be heard honking, we're going to make contact. Surveillance footage reviewed by the I-Team shows Martinez was on the driver's side of the agent's vehicle when Agent Exum can be seen swerving the SUV's steering wheel in her direction. He then stops the car, steps out, and fires 5 shots. So he had to make it look like you were attacking him. This is why you gotta, and then, the duck called you a damn terrorist. Exum's body camera wasn't recording at the time of the shooting. Of course it wasn't. He initiated it after the fact. So there you go. That's an old school move right there. In minutes after, Exum tells agents the use of force incident was his first. Yeah, right. It's the first time he told you about it. I got out of the vehicle so we could defend, Exum says. Then multiple agents can be heard warning him to stay quiet. Hey, since we're recording, keep it. Keep everything out. You're a good man. One agent tells him. You don't give statements to anybody. Another agent can be heard telling Exum, absolutely no statements at all. No statements. You keep your mouth shut. You see? You might win some money, but you're lucky you even alive. Martinez's attorney, Parente, says Exum's version of what led up to and during the shooting is contradicted by the evidence that was released after the U.S. District Judge, Georgia Alexis, ordered it unsealed last week. So, of course, Esau's going to do that, man. He's going to stick up for his own. That's why you don't want to meddle with many matters. What's this? What is the viral Hiroshima romance fireworks? Science explained behind this viral trend. So China got this fireworks that look like it's a damn thermonuclear missile. He says a 27-second clip from Liang, China's renowned fireworks hub, has taken social media by storm. The display, nicknamed Love in Hiroshima by some online viewers, shows massive pyrotechnics choreographed with precision. There is science behind this firework trend. This is crazy, man. I've never seen fireworks that look like thermonuclear destruction. That's crazy. If you can create fireworks that look like thermonuclear destruction, man, imagine what Moab really got, man. Explosions boom in perfect timing, filling the sky with light and color. This is a testament to modern firework engineering. While the nickname sparked controversy online, science enthusiasts are fascinated by the technology, chemistry, and engineering that makes such a display possible. Don't worry, he gonna make such a display possible over here too. Why is Love Hiroshima trending suddenly? The clip went viral because of its stunning visuals and provocative nickname. Some netizens praised the display for its drama and scale. The viral video shows the technical brilliance and sheer spectacle of the fireworks, which are unlike anything ordinary viewers have seen. Creating explosions of this scale requires meticulous safety planning. Yeah, you watch it online, man. That's some high level stuff right there. Okay, let me grab this in the book of Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51 and 11. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord have raised up the spirit of the kings of the Mede for his devices against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. Right. He's sparing up the spirit of the Medes. Let me, where do I think it? All that bend the bow. Oh, I got my caps on like that. Jeremiah 50 and verse 14, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she have sinned against the Lord. So all that bend the bow is everyone who has thermonuclear capability, and China got that. So he would be part of this precept here. Jeremiah 50 verse 29, call together the archers against Babylon. All ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about, let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she have done, do unto her, for she have been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel. So everyone, that's why the Lord's going to allow him to shoot these nukes. Now, these heathen would have been shot the nukes off, but that's how you know the Lord is keeping that wind back, because his word still needs to go out. He's still having mercy on people. Jeremiah 51 and 3, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth up himself in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. So everything's going to be destroyed here. Let me grab this in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. 2nd Ezra 16 and, where is it? 16 and 13. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Okay, so that's going into that thermonuclear destruction. And China's going to be a part of that destruction, as you can see here. As a matter of fact, let me grab this in Jeremiah 51 and Jeremiah 51 and 2, actually 1. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, Babylon's America, and against them that dwelleth in the midst of them, that rise up against me, a destroying wind. And that's talking about the thermonuclear destruction. Okay. And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land in the day of trouble. They shall be against her round about. So these fanners are these other nations that have thermonuclear capability outside of Russia. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. Against him that lifteth up himself in the brigandine. His brigandine is his defenses. Okay, he's lifted up. He's proud. He think nobody can take him down. And spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. So I already read that, but the point is made. Food vlogger dies after eating poisonous devil crab filled a viral clip. You went viral, all right. You didn't even get to see it. Okay, Philippine officials are urging caution after a food influencer reportedly died days after eating a toxic crustacean known locally as a devil crab. According to reports, 51-year-old Emma Amit collapsed at her seaside home in Palawan province after filming herself eating shellfish she had gathered. She died 2 days later. And you people eat this, following the ways of the heathen. They like to eat all this shit. She want to go viral eating some shit that can kill you. No wisdom at all. The incident reportedly took place on February 4th near Puerto Princesa, where Emmett and friends were seen foraging for crabs and shellfish in a mangrove forest. In the footage, she cooked the seafood in coconut milk and sampled the catch on camera. Disgusting. All these crustaceans, all abominations. Lord took her life for that. She reportedly became, because she put it all on the internet, she reportedly became seriously ill the following day. Reports claim her lips turned dark blue as her condition worsened before she was rushed to the hospital. Despite treatment, she died on February 6th. So, then your lips turned blue. Now, I don't know if she didn't know, but it looks like she was trying to go to viral. Like I said, food influencer dies days after eating devil crab, and that's the devil, man. The damn devil, man. That's the devil. Let me grab this in 1 Peter. The devil crab, man. That's the only reason I want to do this video, because it said that. 1 Peter 5:8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So he's always trying to put you to death, man. Authorities believe she may have consumed the poisonous crustacean known locally as a devil crab, which can carry dangerous neurotoxins. Local official Lady Gemang, chief of whatever, said the death was shocking given Emmett's background. This is really saddening because they should have known. She and her husband, they are both fisher folk. They live by the sea. So I know they know about this devil crab that's dangerous to eat. So why did she eat it? That is what I'm confused about, he said. Well, that devil crab was a spirit created for vengeance. Oh, man. I don't know. That nose looked like she... Damn, man. Gemang warned residents not to consume unfamiliar seafood, stressing that similar incidents have already claimed lives in the area. To the residents of Port-au-Prince, I am urging you to be doubly vigilant. Do not eat these dangerous devil crabs because they have claimed 2 lives here in our town. Don't gamble with your lives. It says be vigilant, 1 Peter 5:8. Okay, be vigilant. That's crazy, man. You can't make this up. I'm urging you to doubly vigilant. I don't know if that's the type of to be doubly vigilant. I don't know what she was trying to say. No, you should have been vigilant. Officials are now reminding coastal communities to avoid eating marine animals unless they are certain the species is safe. No, you're not supposed to eat it at all. Leviticus, the 11th chapter, goes into your laws about animals for food. It says, avoid the unclean, man. All right. Where is it? Leviticus 11:9. It says, these shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever have fins and scales. Crabs don't have fins and scales. Shrimp don't have fins and scales. What else? There's some fish that don't even, like catfish, and you're not supposed to eat that shit, man. And you wonder why you got all these health issues. The Lord, you're breaking a commandment. In the seas, it says, these shall ye eat that are in the waters, whatsoever have fins and scales in the waters. That's what you can eat. In the seas and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. So that's what she's eating. Okay. They shall be even an abomination unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcasses an abomination. Whatsoever have no fins or scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you. So she wanted to eat an abomination, and this is what's going to happen to you. Now, this was fast, quick, Y'all eat shit that maybe doesn't have the neurotoxin into it, but it's still going to put you to death, because the Lord created you. He understands. This is all spiritual. So if you eat and shit like that, it's ultimately a demon. You're a rebellious spirit. So if he's doing that to her, I would, it's probably good to bring out Leviticus, the 11th chapter, going back into and rabbit. I didn't get into the whole chapter, but rabbits, ducks, horses. What else can't you eat? Owls. Scavengers. You ain't supposed to eat that shit. Ahmed's death adds to a growing list of content creators who have died while filming food-related challenges, and that's what the internet is, foolishness. We read this in the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10, verse 6. No, Ecclesiasticus 10, and oh no, not Ecclesiasticus, Ecclesiastes 10. In verse 6, folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place. So folly, which is foolishness, is set in great dignity. To eat something you know is a neurotoxin. For views and die, that's folly. Okay, you wanted to go viral. You actually went viral too, but you're dead. Okay, folly is set in great dignity, but the rich sit in the low place. The rich are you Israelites. You're rich with faith. Okay, you everything is yours, but you're suffering the curses right now, and you have to endure for the Lord to give it back to you. I have seen servants upon horses. Esau is a servant upon a horse. He's exalted. He's in power. And princes, Yasharallah, walking as servants upon the earth. And while Esau is exalted, now we're the servant. But we're not meant to be servants. He is. Okay, that's pretty much it on that. China vows to do what it can as U.S. blockade leaves Cuba with just weeks of oil. China ain't gonna be able to help Cuba out, man. Stop lying to those people over there. You full of shit. Just like America ain't gonna help Taiwan. Now China's talking about he gonna help Cuba. Moab. Let me grab this in the book of Isaiah, chapter 16. In verse 6, we have heard of the pride of Moab. He is very proud, even of his haughtiness, in his pride and his wrath. But his lies shall not be so. Let's look this up. Your lies shall not be so, Moab. You're full of shit. Let's see what this is talking about. Moab's talking about the so-called Chinese man. Represents a nation lifted up in self-importance and hostility toward Israel, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Their reputation is already known. This isn't hidden sin. It's public and established. Yeah, we know you're proud. Because he follows after Esau. He's like someone said in one video a long time ago, he said Moab is a clone of Esau, and that's the perfect way of putting it. He want to do everything Esau is, just on a more wicked level. If he had the chance, he want to have a better society. He'd be doing it just like him, and he think he the next one to rule. So Moab, you going into slavery too. Even of his haughtiness and his pride and his wrath. This verse stacks terms to emphasize excess haughtiness, looking down on others, pride, self-exaltation, wrath, violent anger, and cruelty. That describes the so-called Chinese man to a T, but his lies shall not be so. Moab's boasting, threats, and self-image are false. Yeah, go in there and help Cuba out. See what happens to your stupid ass. They claim strength, permanence, and dominance, but the Most High says it will not stand. Yeah, that's not going to work, man. You're a wash pot, man. Do something economically. Do some more terrorists, go to South America and, work on those beans that make tofu or something, man. See if you can corner the market. Bring duck to the table on tofu. Maybe get a better deal on your tariffs on those stupid ass plastics you be making. Key idea: pride creates a false reality, but judgment exposes truth. Yeah, so go over there to Cuba. I would love to see what you're going to do over there. Moab's full of shit. Beijing pledges continued support for Cuba and champions Havana's sovereignty as the island grapples with worsening fuel shortages. You should have been helped them out. You couldn't even, didn't they take one of your boats too? America took one of your boats. You ain't doing anything about it. Venezuela just, what you doing about your deals in Venezuela? So duck is fucking you up in those waters, man. China will support Cuba in the best way possible. The best way possible is you leave them Cubans alone, man. As the island grapples with an energy crisis following together measures imposed by U.S. President Donald Duck administration, a Chinese foreign ministry spokesperson confirmed on Wednesday. Speaking at a regular press briefing in Beijing, Foreign Minister spokesperson Lin Jian said China will do what it can to assist Havana and again condemned what he described as inhumane actions that deprive the Cuban people of their right to survival and development. Yeah, what about those Muslims that you got in detention centers in your country? When pressed on specific measures, however, Lin declined to confirm any concrete program, saying the next moves would depend on bilateral consultations with Havana. The remarks reinforced positions adopted by Beijing in recent days as Cuba's energy situation has deteriorated rapidly. I wouldn't go over there if I were you. As a matter of fact, Russia said they're not gonna all right, where is that? Russia. Yeah, Russia evacuates tourists from Cuba as U.S. engineered fuel crisis deepens. So something about to happen in Cuba, man. China's saying they're gonna defend it. Russia's trying to get their tourists up out of there. Their fuel shortages, so everyone who's over there is gonna be stuck over there. And last thing I heard is that those Cubans were ready to fight. They had millions of people ready to fight. They had grandmas walking around with AKs, ready to go, saying they're ready to go to war. And, you know, I ain't gonna lie, some of them grandmothers look like, I mean, Esau got the discombobulator, so he might use the discombobulator like he did with Venezuelan President Maduro. Russia is preparing to evacuate its citizens who are visiting Cuba, Moscow's aviation authority said after a United States imposed oil blockade. The island nation has choked off supplies of jet fuel due to the difficulties with refueling aircraft in Cuba. Rosaya Airlines and Nordwind Airlines have been forced to adjust their flight schedules to airports in the country. Russia's federal aviation regulator, Rosaviestia, said in a statement on Wednesday. So about 5,000 Russian tourists may be on the island, Russia's Association of Tour Operators said earlier this week. That's a lot of damn people over there, man. They don't hear what the hell's going on. They must be living good over there, though. Jake don't be living good in their own country, but the Russians probably got living like kings over there. These Edomite nations, man. They're probably living really good. We're about to shut all that shit down. So I wouldn't be surprised if we hear about an attack soon over there. What else is going on? Venezuela sends first oil shipment to Israel in years in sign of relations improving. Yeah, right. Yeah, Venezuela just loves Israel so much. After Maduro called not a Jew, a scoundrel from Poland, he called him. Israel's Bazan Group will be responsible for transporting the cargo, according to the report, although authorities have not publicly disclosed this. Yeah, they don't want to make it public. You're getting robbed. This is what the whole point of them going into that place. Just because Israel wants your oil. You thought the duck wanted your oil? Nope. Venezuela sent its first shipment of crude oil to Israel in 7 years, according to a Tuesday report by Bloomberg. And it's probably, you think they paid for that? I would love to see how they paid for this. The shipment represents a renewal of contacts between Venezuela government and Israel. A renewal of contacts. Come on, here's a gift to Israel. Here's this big oil tanker. Thank you for taking our president away from us. Ever since former Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez cut relations in 2009, I wonder why. According to people familiar with the deal, Israel Bazan Group will be responsible for transporting the cargo. The report notes that the deal was not made public, which aligns with Israel's policy of not revealing the sources of its crude oil imports. Well, how do I know about it? The last shipment of oil from Venezuela to Israel consisted of 470,000 barrels, according to Kepler data shared by Bloomberg. So, 470,000 barrels, huh? You need all that oil? That little ass country? Venezuela's bigger than Israel. Venezuela authorities aim to restore relations, yeah? You aim to restore, so it's not restored yet, but yet you getting oil from them? Something ain't matching up with that. But it tells you in the book of John 10:10. I don't believe none of these devils, man. Full of shit. John 10 verse 10, let's grab it. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. So that's all the devil can do is steal, kill, and destroy. Maria Corina Machado is a courageous woman, and her struggle is a source of inspiration to many in Venezuela and beyond. Oh, here comes the ass kissing. We discuss developments in Venezuela since the historic U.S. Operation Absolute Resolve. Yeah, you did not Absolute Resolve about you, man. Let's look this up. Absolute Resolve was a high-stakes U.S. military mission conducted on January 3rd, 2026, which successfully apprehended Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. So there you go. That was the name of the operation. But listen to the definition of this. It said it can bear any burden or some shit like that. Okay. Define. What the hell? It's so hard about defining it. Okay. Definition, you motherfucker. Sorry, this AI shit is so dumb. Absolute resolve doesn't just mean the operation. Yeah, absolute refers to something complete, unconditional, and final, existing without restrictions or dependence or on external factors such as absolute proof. Resolve means to settle, determine, or make firm decision on an issue, while noun it represents firm determination or purpose. When I looked it up before, it meant something about not bearing a burden or something like that, like nothing can stop you. Led by President Duck, said Saar, I wish the people of Venezuela that they may soon be able to choose their leadership in free elections after the long years of repression under Maduro and Chavez, he added. Full of shit, man. So now he did you a favor by taking your president out your country. Hey, you're going to do very well, just full of shit, man. Full of shit, man. But there's nothing you could do anyways. I'm not saying she should go to war. You're going to lose. But, it don't matter. None of that shit's going to matter, man. Especially when these wars start to really kick off. Let me see. Dear Miss Minister Saar, I am truly grateful for the opportunity to engage in an extensive conversation about the challenges and opportunities we face in a process that is already moving Venezuela toward democracy, said Machado. Our country will be a reliable and stable partner for the world's democracies and will offer major opportunities for investment and exchange. Venezuela's reintegration into the democratic world will also allow us to build global alliances in the face of those who threaten our security, she added. What? Oh, man. I don't know what kind of world we live in, man. This is just bullshit. You think they liberated you? You're going into slavery, woman, if you didn't know that. And you're going to see that soon. But y'all love oppression. They love oppression, man. That's Israel. Matter of fact, let me grab that. Israel loves oppression. KJV, I forgot. Isaiah 30:12. Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. So you start to see swelling in the wall, it's going to burst, and it's going to come crashing down on your ass like a flood. All right? As a matter of fact, let me grab that in Revelation 12:12. I'm going to end it on this. Is this the one I'm looking for? No, that ain't it. This ain't it. Revelation 2, I'm going to read it anyways. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. So he had great wrath, knowing that he have but a short time. That's the swelling in the wall. And you think everything's good, and it's not. So some of your world leaders, man, unless that's all propaganda, you can't believe in any of this shit. Who knows what's being actually said? Sometimes you got to play the role. I guess since I can only think of Isaiah 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against them. But if you ain't dealing with the Lord, he ain't going to lift up that standard for you. Okay? But that's the flood that's coming. And I'm going to end it here. Lord's will, this was edifying. Shalom.